led into a life of degradation and destitution. Or stories about good, honest, country-bred men who contracted unspeakable diseases while visiting that most vile and immoral of cities, London. And don't walk too close to the sea on your way home. Remember the sudden wave that swept poor Miss Milburn to her death? How could she forget? She was reminded almost daily of the accident that had happened a decade before she was born. Her mother had a horror of sea bathing, and Sandrine was the only girl in the village who wasn't allowed to go for a swim on a calm and sunny day such as today. "I won't venture too close to the water. And keep your pelisse buttoned tightly, even if the sun grows hot. And keep your eyes modestly upon the ground if you should be approached by any man other than Mr. Pilkington. And heaven forbid you should speak with a stranger. A glimpse of unprotected throat or an innocent smile can transform a man into a ravening beast." "I shan't invite any bestial ravishment," Sandrine promised solemnly. "I should leave now. I want to see if the history book that I ordered has arrived. I'll be back in an hour," she called over her shoulder, making a hasty retreat before any more dire warnings could be issued. As she left their little cottage and walked down the stone steps toward the village square, she pondered the necessity of her mother's warnings. In Sandrine's 20 years of life experience, nothing shocking or even particularly noteworthy had ever happened in the sleepy village of Squalton-on-Sea. She'd been keeping a list of unpredictable and thrilling occurrences in a journal since she was a small girl. The list was laughably short. There'd been the one journey she'd taken to Brighton with her father before his death, where she'd marvelled at the magnificent royal pavilion built by the Prince of Wales as a discreet location in which to entertain his scandalous companion, Maria Fitzherbert. And there'd been the time that the schoolmaster had accidentally set the schoolhouse on fire, attempting to demonstrate a chemical reaction. But lately, the only entries were about an escaped bull overturning a vegetable cart, unpredictable but hardly thrilling, and the harrowing tale of Mrs. Harbottle's cook attempting to retrieve a haunch of beef from cold storage, only to have it fall upon her head, which everyone agreed could have proven fatal, but which luckily resulted in only a small bruise and a faint ringing in her ears. Not the stuff of which extraordinary adventures were made. Though there wasn't much chance of anything too thrilling happening in a town called Squalton-on-Sea. The name Brighton called to mind sunshine sparkling on blue waters, while Squalton reminded one of squalls of wind, or a baby squalling, or squalor, none of which was likely to attract fashionable seaside revellers. But worse than the unfortunate name were the abandoned and empty buildings. She looked back at the once grandiose and now decrepit Squalton Manor, its mullioned windows dark and sightless, chimneys crumbling, and doors choked by vines. It was as though the neglected manor house on a steep promontory overlooking the sea set the tone for the entire village. No matter how tidy people kept their homes, or how freshly painted, no matter how many colourful flowers they planted in window boxes, there was a general air of dereliction and neglect. As secretary of the Squalton Historical Preservation and Improvement Society, Sandrine had penned countless petitions and letters to the owner of the manor, the Duke of Rydell, pleading with him to lease or bestow the manor to the Historical Society for renovation and use as a museum, attraction for travellers, and venue for charitable events. She longed to see the vines trimmed and the windows sparkle. She pictured elegant assembly rooms that could be used for charitable fundraising events. Perhaps a small tea shop serving baked goods that would also sell copies of the pamphlet she was drafting. An entertaining account of Squalton Manor's long and interesting history. Visitors would flock to Squalton. Her museum pamphlet would be so popular that people would beg her to write an actual history of the house.